So here's some really weird news for some of our Tokusatsu fans out there. Kraken is releasing by the Kraken. So Kraken is a division of Section 23 Films. So I believe that's tied up with ADV, where the ADV used to be, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below if you're watching this through YouTube. The point is that they license Garo, Kiba the Dark Knight live action special. Now, Tristan is extremely confused by that combination of words. To you, it's word soup. You're like, what in the fuck is that? Well, okay, so Garo is, like I said to some Tokusatsu fans out there, Garo, like to simplify it, super duper, for those who don't know what Tokusatsu is, or Garo is a Japanese superhero basically franchise at this point. It started out in about 2005, 2006 as one show, just a random 25 episode live action series that was pretty cool. If you want to watch it legally, you can actually see it on High Dive. So it's actually legally available through High Dive. I don't think you have to subscribe to watch it, but if you do, if they're still in their beta, then subscription's like $4 a month, so it's not that bad. Tristan and I still need to freaking do that. But the reason why I bring it up is because that series, that first one, technically has nothing to do with Kiba the Dark Knight. Because what ended up happening is, as the series, Garo as a whole, started to go on, they started to get different spin-offs, if you will. They started to... So Kiba was a character introduced in the first season of Garo, if I remember correctly, because I haven't seen it in a while. But it's so strange because, obviously, different movies and specials have come out, but I'm just so confused as to... I mean, okay, right? Think of it like this, right, Tristan? Can you imagine if Funimation was like, oh, we're releasing Dragon Ball Z when it first came out, right? So Dragon Ball Z is coming out through Funimation, and then just some random company, like Disney, was just like, you know what? We're going to release Dragon Ball Z OVA Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans. And
right,
you're like,
I knew you were gonna go for that
because it's so fucking obscure compared to the original series.
Right.
Because I mean, you could say like movie 6, I guess. Like a random. Because that's the thing. That's really basically what it is. And it's funny because it technically has happened before in the anime world, because Funimation obviously released Yu Yu Hakusho, and another company released one of the Yu Yu Hakusho movies. So as to this day, Funimation has not released that one movie because another company picked it up with their own voice actors who somewhat sound like Funimation's cast, but not really. And you can pick it up like at a $5 bargain bin, unless it's gone up in price. But I'm pretty sure it's really cheap. And it's super interesting because Funimation just never picked it up because some other company came in, I think, while Funimation had the license too. It's not like they picked it up first. So it's kind of happened in the anime world. I know that... God, what was it? I think like Funimation or another company licensed Free Season 2, while another company had... I think it was like Funimation had like Season 1, and then Nozomi Entertainment came in with Season 2 and licensed it, and it's like... Or the reverse, and it was like, really, guys? Are we really making a dub for a show after it wasn't dubbed? Or it was the reverse. Are we really licensing a show exclusively here, and it's not the dubbed second season? Are we doing this? But it's just so strange, dude, because it's basically a random, if we're going to compare it to like, an anime, it's a random OVA, quote unquote, that's being released on February 20th. Am I going to buy it? Fuck to the yes, but that's still super confusing that this exists.
Right.
Oh, okay, wait a minute, actually, no, let me be fair here. Kraken is releasing the first 13 episodes of Garo. Or they have, at this point. So to be fair, they did release Garo, but I don't know how. Maybe this OVA was packaged when they bought the license. Maybe the original licensor was like, hey, you have to take these two together. But it just seems so strange, like, was the license cheap? Like, were they just going after the license and they were like, wow, look at how cheap this one special is. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's so confusing. And I don't understand the logic behind it. Do you think maybe it was cheap, or maybe they want to, see if they can get more exposure, or like experimenting with releasing this? Because it's only a 50-minute special. It really is like an anime film. that adds 50 minutes, like one of the smaller Dragon Ball Z ones, or other shonen ones. But you see why I'm so confused here? Like, I don't know what's going on. They gotta be real. Yeah.
I mean, maybe they were trying to purchase something else, and maybe this had to be packaged along, or they could just be experimenting with it too.
Yes, because we've talked about that before. Sometimes with companies, not even just an anime thing. Sometimes with companies, when you want to buy one license, like let's say you want to buy Dragon Ball Z, right? Like but like pre-Funimation buying it, you're like, I want to buy Dragon Ball Z. Toei could be like, all right, but here's 2 movies that have to go with it. And, sadly, a company could either sit on those, which why would you in the case of, this Garo special, but some companies will sit on them, or the company releases it, and then people are super confused, like, why are you releasing that, right? And there's nothing wrong with this, special at all, and I think, and I'm sure there's some Toku fans that are like, Matt, shut the fuck up. Let's just be happy this is coming out.
Right, yeah.
Don't say anything. You're spoiling it.
You'll scare them away.
But I just... I'm
like, Matt, you like this series, don't you? Like, what's...
No, I do. It's just, it's just so strange because this has never been done, so I think that's why it's like, oh. So in no way am I not happy. I'm happy that this is coming out. I'm happy that I can get this. It's just, my confusion, it's just, the fact that Tokusatsu is actually starting to gain some traction in America with, with Shout Factory releasing Super Sentai twice a year. When you have Crunchyroll having a bunch of different Ultraman shows. We're actually going to talk about some Ultraman licensing a little bit later on in this episode. And also having, not just Crunchyroll having Ultraman, but we also have High Dive, having Garo, and having some, obviously Godzilla's been huge, so a bunch of different services have Godzilla as well. Speaking of the Garo anime, Funimation actually has the Garo anime, but when it comes to anime, of course, you're like, oh, who licensing is it? You're like, Funimation? Is it? When is it not Funimation, when it comes to anime?
What is Funimation for? 400?
Right, pretty much. But when it comes to live action, I'm super happy that this is even happening. It's just throwing me for a loop. Also because it's coming out on Blu-ray as well. Obviously, we've talked about this in the past on some other Keikaku Corner episodes. Blu-ray is the new norm. We're in the past, Tristan. We're old. Yeah. We're old fogies. But no, I'm, again, super happy, just super confused, and I'll be buying this. I'll be buying this, and I'll be buying Garo. Did not even realize it was out on DVD, so I'm going to go get that. And I'll put a link in the description below if you guys want to get it. And if there's a pre-order for this special itself, I'm going to put that in the description box as well.
And put in the those guys code.
No, not yet. If you want that to happen, you email Kraken. Get a Kraken, everybody. Nope, that joke just killed us. Well, we have to be canceled now.